going on, guys? We're here with Dick's Sporting Goods. We're on top of Whistler Blackcomb. Awesome day, but we got to get this board ready to go. First thing you want to do is make sure you have all the tools that you need. We have our waxing iron, then we have our wax, then we have our trusty scraper. And to clean up our edges, we have our edge sharpening tool. We've got our dirty rag and our base cleaner. We're just going to give it a quick coat, nothing too crazy. Couple sprays, little coat here. Remove any excess dirt that may be on there from the snow. So you just want to make sure that your board is nice and clean and dry. You've given it a quick once over with a rag. All right, so we've got our nice warm iron. We've had plugged in for a few minutes. It's at our medium-high heat. We're gonna grab our all-season, all-temp wax. It's a bit variable outside. We have some fresh snow, we have some ice, but it's not too cold, so we want something that's pretty versatile. We're gonna start by making a nice even coat all the way across the board. So what I like to do is little drips around the tip first and put my waxing iron on an angle. And what that does is it allows the drips to form in a unique line. So I like to go along the whole width here, nice and slow. And then we're gonna wrap around to the tip here again. We're gonna slowly make our way up the other side of the board. And once we've done both edges, we wanna kinda go back and forth and zigzag across the center of the board. So once we have our drips all over our board while they're still warm, we're taking our iron here and we're spreading them all out so we get a nice even coat all the way across the board. You never want to keep the iron in one spot for too long. You want to start melting all these little dots together. I like to use circles and then a bit of a back and forth as you're kind of going up the base. So what the heat does is it opens up the pores, allows the wax to soak in. A little tip to make sure that you're kind of getting warm all the way through. You can reach with your other hand and reach underneath the board and feel if there's some warmth coming through. You don't want it to be hot, but just a little bit of warmth will sometimes help. You want to be patient while you're doing this, so you get a nice even coat throughout the entire board. You don't want any gaps or spaces or areas where it's dry and the wax hasn't been applied to the board. All right, now that we've got a nice coat evenly distributed all the way across the board, we need to let this puppy cool down. So give yourself a good half an hour for it to sit there and do its thing. The pores are gonna close up, the wax is gonna get absorbed, and then we can start scraping. All right, it's been about 30 minutes. Our board's dried, and it's time to scrape. So what we're gonna do is grab our trusty scraper, and you're gonna do long, continuous strokes from the tip to the tail. What you need to do is put the scraper on about a 45-degree angle and apply a good amount of pressure evenly all the way across and pull it from the tip all the way to the tail. So you're gonna do this all the way through to remove as much excess wax as you can. You want to ensure that wherever you're scraping your board is in an area that you can easily clean up, because this stuff gets everywhere. All right, so we've got our board nice and scraped. We're just gonna do one more pass all the way around the edge and try to get rid of any excess that is sitting on the actual edges of the board itself. Now that we have our board fully scraped, it's ready to wipe it down, clean off some of this excess wax, and get to our edges. If you have a brush handy, some people like to take it from tip to tail in a long, continuous stroke. And what that does is creates channels in the wax, much like a tire of your car that helps distribute water. So now we've kind of given our board a little wipe over. You can take the clean rag and just kind of rub in a little bit harder in small circles. And what this does is this is called buffing. And this will just help spread out that wax, smooth out any areas that you kind of missed. So your edges definitely take a beating as you're going around the mountain. So sometimes you clip little rocks and whatnot, so you get all sorts of little burrs and dings. So all we want to do here is just try to clean up the edges and give them a quick sharpen. You got your edge sharpening tool here. I have it set to 90 degrees. And what you want to do is look for the arrow on the bottom. It shows you the direction that you need to take this. And you're going to start from one end to the other, same as when we're waxing. You want to ensure that your edging tool is nice and flush against the side. With a good amount of pressure, you're going to go in one long motion all the way from the tip to the tail. Good amount of pressure here to remove any burrs and inconsistencies in that edge. You can do this a few times if you want, if those edges aren't quite sharp enough to your liking. A little tip that I've been taught over the years is you take the back of your nail and slide it down the edge. A little tiny bit of it comes up. All right, don't forget about the other side of your board. Same thing as before, a nice strong pass One motion all the way from the tip to the tail. Check out the sharpness to your liking. Use the little nail trick. All right, wax is on, nice and even, nice and smooth and buffed out. Edges are nice and sharp. I'm gonna get changed to get out there. See you on the hill.